Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I am live across, I don't know how many platforms. You guys might see me looking on multiple devices in multiple directions. You already know. Give me 1 second, okay, guys. I forgot to set up so that I can see the comments on TikTok. TikTok. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, let's get started. So, the last couple readings, conversations that we've had have been really intense, and I'm kind of just done with it. I am. So I don't want to know in advance what this conversation is going to be about. I'm just going to let Soul guide the chat. I'm going to let Soul tell me by just, pulling some cards and praying for the best. I'm not even joking. I would love like a really happy reading today. That's what I would really like. Something very hopeful, very just wonderful, happy information, because really the information that's been coming through has just been really just, it's so heavy. It's giving me stiff shoulders. And because I worked out quite a bit. All right, let's get a couple from here. Okay, I'm going to pull from the middle is what I'm told. Okay. Maybe it's going to be a really happy reading. Maybe. I'm open to it. I'm open to it being extremely happy. So, a lot of density, a lot of energy shifting. This has been happening for a couple of weeks already. A lot of discoveries. Discoveries. What the hell does that mean? I don't like the feel of that. I don't like the feel of it. Okay. Let's just get started. Okay, so we're in another cycle. Magic. Oh, okay. I'm kind of liking this. So here, Soul is kind of telling me that all of this very dense information that's been coming through, it's really intended to trigger some type of process within ourselves, a process where you're no longer going to allow things outside of you to decide things for you, where you're like, no, this is what my energy is going to be used for. This is where my attention is going to. That stuff, whatever. Things might be going on over there, but that's none of my business. That's none of my concern. And that's just going to be over there. I'm not going to be involved in that, right? We need to have that point where we need to reach that point where we are actively choosing exactly what will allow our energy and our attention to be brought to. Whatever can be done to bring your attention to something, it's going to be done, because there are things that know if you pay attention, you're paying an energy. Whatever you pay attention to is what you are feeding your energy. So be cognitive of what you're feeding, right? You get to choose what that is. You also get to choose what you will not actively feed. For me, I would love to only support the things that are very supportive already, just naturally, of our healing as individuals and as the collective. I only want to allow my energy to go towards facilitating someone else's realizations about themselves, about their power. It's very important that you guys get to a point where you begin to recognize you actually hold all the power, not over someone else, just over your life, right? You hold all of that power. So it's time to utilize your passion for the things that you want to bring to fruition. I mean, I've been saying this for a few months, and now that we're aware that there's a massive shifting that's happening, and it's a massive shift, whatever of your energy was caught up in feeding a beast, we'll put it in that way. Okay. Heavy air quotes. Whatever of your energy was caught up in feeding some mythical beast, it's been released. We're in a 9-day transitory period. So it's actually 8 days at this point. And then comes May 1st, May Day. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Regardless of your religious beliefs and religious practice, there are certain things, certain time frames, certain parts of the year where your energy becomes extremely amplified, and the potentiality of you actively creating the very life and circumstances, opportunities, potentiality, it becomes very heightened. This is one of those periods. We are priming, about to reach a point where pathways are going to be dilated temporarily, okay, temporarily. And all of that energy that was caught up and invested in something else, it's being released. So you can call that back home to you, and you can consciously choose to utilize that to bring to fruition specific types of events that you've been working really, really hard for, that you have been very, very focused on for years now, waiting for the proper opportunity. Now is the time. Now is the time to do it. Now is a time for you to choose what you're going to fuel. Okay. Now is also the time that you can rebirth yourself. You can bring a more suitable version of yourself forward. I think for many of us, we cosplay who we are. I know, I don't mean it to be offensive, but many of us don't realize what it is we actually do. We cosplay some character that we think people in our lives, people in our environment want us to be. And if we're not that, then we disappoint them. Let them be disappointed. It's part of the process of them becoming opened to the reality of who you actually are, right? If I look at my life, quite a few times I have made decisions and chosen directions and opportunities based on what my soul has guided me to do. And it has disappointed at least one or two people in my life. I know for quite a long time, up until my mid to late 30s, every decision that I made disappointed all of my relatives. You have no idea how many times I have heard, and they would say it directly to my face, um, girl, you're so smart. Don't waste that. Meaning, I needed to go into a medical profession and be licensed as a medical professional. And anything outside of that was unacceptable. That me simply being with my children all day, every day as a stay at home mom and having all of my focus on them was a waste of my intelligence. A lot of disappointment just circling me for a very long time. A lot of disappointment. Why? Because they had an expectation of who I'm supposed to be. I did not waste my time being a stay-at-home mom. Do you understand how intelligent my children are? They were born intelligent and I cultivated it. I encouraged it. Maybe one of these days, many, many years from now, I'll have the luxury of gifting the world with the opportunity to introduce all of you to my children. Maybe. Not anytime soon, but maybe. And you guys will be able to see exactly what it is I'm talking about. I don't speak just as their mother. I speak as someone who's highly aware of people's potentiality. My children have no limits. Why? Because that's what I encouraged. I did not waste those years. I did not disappoint myself. I did not disappoint my children. And I will tell you right now, no one understood the way I was parenting. None understood the way I was parenting. And there's a lot of criticism, a lot of criticism. And now the very people who were the most hypercritical of my parenting, they validated, they have said, like, man, your kids have turned out amazing. They're so respectful. Like, damn. Now they're doing the things that they criticized me for doing back then. You guys have to understand that sometimes you are just so far ahead in comparison to the people in your environment that they will never understand what you are doing until they themselves have reached the level that you're currently at. And then they might come back around and be like, yeah, oh my God, I'm doing that. And it's like, beautiful, right? Yeah, no, it's not okay for you to ask me how many kids I have. That's a very personal, very private question. And there are aspects of my life that I will not share publicly. And I'm not angry and I'm not offended, but that's definitely something I need to clearly communicate. It's not okay to ask me details about my children that I'm not willingly volunteering, like how many there are, their ages, favorite colors, their names, things like that. That's very, very personal to me. And I protect my children vehemently. I am extremely vicious in my protection of my children. Their privacy will be protected always. And unless they choose to live a public life, I will not share any details outside of things that soul tells me is okay to share. So that's something that's very important, you guys. It's important to allow people to have the opportunity to ask and then learn where your boundary is and how far you're willing to enforce it, right? I don't see anything wrong with the question. Um, I do see the need to answer the question, not just ignore it, because in answering, having that very important type of interaction, you are teaching people where your boundaries are. That's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a confrontational thing. It doesn't have to be a thing where, oh my God, I can't believe you would ask me that. Right? Like, no, this is where my boundaries are. Just like I will only share so much about my husband as well. You know, they did not make a choice to be publicly visible. I didn't either, but my journey is my own. So these cycles, there are cycles that are being reinitiated. Whatever those cycles are, you get to choose whether you will partake or not. You can easily choose a different thing. You can easily choose a different thing. So if there's some type of drama cycle that's trying to repeat itself, okay, you know what it is. Are you going to allow yourself to get sucked back in there? If you are, you've chosen that, and that's what it is. If you're not, what other options do you have? Are there opportunities that are being presented, but you don't realize this yet because you are so focused on the fear of something happening again? 1 degree is all you need to shift in order to completely change the trajectory of your journey. Just by 1 degree. Just 1 degree. That's it. That's it. You don't need to become a completely different person for you to be able to meet yourself in a different space. A different version of yourself will be invited to rise up if you simply give yourself the space and that 1 degree of shifting at a time. As you begin to do that, your magic comes forward. I think for many of us, our abilities are starting to awaken. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Allowing those abilities to introduce themselves to you. I think for some, this heightened awareness is starting to rise to the surface. You're starting to be able to connect dots that you didn't realize were intertwined with something else. I think you're going to begin to see the way your process is going to unfold before it begins to unfold. This is something you need to encourage. You need to allow yourself to kind of just be like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. If you can do that, my gosh, your potentiality, it opens even wider. So many other things that you didn't think were possible could begin to happen, but you have to allow. That's all you have to do is be like, okay, I'm open to seeing. Show me how this could possibly turn out. Your soul will not misguide you. When things don't go your way, if you're not able to be part of things that you want to be a part of, you need to begin seeing that as a blessing. Maybe you're being protected. Maybe the very thing that you're wanting so badly is something that's misaligned or something that is covertly being used as a way to access you. I think for many of you who are part of our community, sometimes it's through the negative we begin to see the positive. That's what I'm being told right now, because I'm hesitating to say this, but it's important for you guys to know. I can either do a positive conversation with you, or I can do one that's real. Those are the options. Positive, and you lose the gravity of what you need to know, but you're soothed. I'm very good at soothing people. You can be soothed. Or I tell you what you need to know, and we ruffle some of those feathers, and then I can help to smooth them out before this is done. So I'm being tasked to choose. Okay. So some of you need to know that with the opening of specific boxes, cube specifically, uh, how would I frame this? For some of you, part of the reason why your gifts are activating even more so as of late, you're actively being hunted by dark things. The awareness creates a potentiality for a decreased opportunity to actually reach you. It's important for you to know this so that you can be aware to the degree that you can do something to protect yourself. Yes, the black cube in the Vatican. That's exactly what it is. It's open. It's open. The black cube in the Vatican is actually a form of a tesseract. It has the potentiality to transport large quantities or large things. And one that gets opened, meaning the membrane that phase locks and prevents spillage, is temporarily being suspended. It's now being opened. Sometimes things will try and sneak through because there's so much communication that's occurring, so much information transfer that's occurring. And this is a period that we've entered into where the things that have been in control want to remain in control. That time is done. It's done. And so as that time comes to a conclusion, as it concludes, these things that have been in control are fighting desperately to remain in control. All you have to do is call your power back to you. All you have to do is allow yourself to continue to remember. We've already been in this process. I've told you guys this for months. This process of allowing yourself to remember, being open to receiving directly from your soul. Thank you, Scott. Um, if you want to learn how to maximize your protection, I actually have a couple of spaces left. I have a workshop this Saturday, the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop. This is where I return to you very ancient information. No one taught me aura spectra bioregenesis. I created the term aura spectra bioregenesis. My system was a system that was in place before the creation of humans. So I return back to you very, very easy techniques that you can utilize to mitigate all of these different types of attempts to keep your chakras healthy and aligned, to protect yourself. It's very easy to learn. Very, very easy to learn. So this workshop is on Saturday. There's a couple seats left. If you're on TikTok and you want to know more about this workshop, simply go to the link in my bio on TikTok and you'll be able to see all of that. I also have the Baneful Protection workshop. This one, I have I have an odd little soul. It's been alive for quite some time. With that, I was also present, part of the team that was given angelic information that was called Baneful Magic. This Baneful Magic originally was released into human access, just to their spiritual leaders at first, and this was to protect the tribes and the nations that were heavily focused on by full-blown demonics. It was primarily to negate the work that they were doing with Lilith, because Lilith has genetic code that gives her access to the human template. She was once part of a experiment, you could say. She was bred in Ea's den, Eden. She was part of an experiment, a hybridization experiment. It was initiated by demands from the Ijiji to the Anunnaki. So she has the codes and she can access templates. She also harvested coding from Eve. She has access. There were rules that were put into place very long time ago so that her access would be restricted to the first, I think, several weeks of life for humans. And that's been in place for quite some time. I told you guys several weeks ago, or several live streams ago, I think maybe it was last week, that she's been unchained. The rules and regulations that she had to abide by, they're not in place. And I don't know that they'll be put back in place. That means she has access. That means she gives access to her children. Her bloodline was commingled with Eve's. One of Eve's, actually two of Eve's children, I believe it was. Don't quote me though. Married her daughters. It's commingled. She has access. She was kept separate for some time. But now timelines are collapsing not to punish us, not because something evil is happening. That Nexus event is being corrected. And those timelines that erupted from that Nexus event that happened a very long time ago, it's being corrected. We're going back to the original plot, the original story. We're returning back to it. So the Baneful Protection Workshop, this is a workshop where I teach you how to cut that access to you. I did not learn magic from a human being. My memories were left intact. So when I say I know how to powerfully defend my space, if you want to fuck around and find out, you will absolutely find out. Why do you think I'm not afraid? Because I know how to handle my energy. I've lost my fear of myself and my purpose. And that's really all you have to do. Lose your fear of yourself and your purpose. Well, since I'm already on this page, I'm going to be live later tonight, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to do expedites. If you're in need of protective type activations, that I'm doing tonight. Also, I have an event, the Dark Matter Clearing event. It's the Black Magic Revocation. We are revoking access to you. This will be, I think, like in a week. It says it on, if you're on TikTok, it says it on the Hubi link on my bio. So, a lot of what's happening right now, you need to really reclaim your energy. You need to reclaim your power. A lot of this can be done by just making a decision. And I don't mean making a declaration that you don't actually believe in. When people tell you that, they're doing a disservice. Why? Because your energy never lies. It never lies. And what you're communicating with is energy. It does not matter what comes out of your mouth. It does not matter what you hatch up intellectually. None of that actually matters. Your energy will always override whatever you're trying to convince yourself. So, unless you have the ability to make a declaration and truly, fully believe it, embody it, it doesn't mean anything. I know people tell you to command your space. I know people tell you that, this and that, and all you have to say is what you want and it will happen. That's not true. That's not true. I had a gentleman, well, he's not really a gentleman. I had this male try and intimidate me at the gym, much older than me. He probably thought I was young. Um, he probably doesn't know very many Asians. He probably thought that I was like, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s or something. And it's like, no, I'm at an age where I really don't give a fuck. And then he probably factored in, oh, she's Asian. She's probably going to be docile. She's probably going to feel intimidated. He probably expected me to apologize profusely, get embarrassed, and leave the gym. Actually, no. I didn't give a shit what his words were. I didn't. And he spoke them convincingly. I still didn't give a shit. I still didn't stop using the cables. I didn't put any of the weights back. As a matter of fact, when he tried to disengage and walk away from me, I just spoke louder. Like, did you need the 8-pound weights? Is that what you're waiting for? My energy didn't lie, because after that, and that was the only interaction we had, every time I would see him at the gym, he would face the other way. He had his back turned to me the whole time. I didn't threaten him or anything. As a matter of fact, for the last couple of weeks, he's not at the gym when I'm there. Because my energy doesn't lie. I don't give a shit what comes out of your mouth. And my energy communicates that. It communicates that. If your energy does not align with what you are saying, these energetic things will listen to your energy. Okay? You have to give yourself the permission to own the space you occupy. You have to be apologetic about existing. For what? For what? You seem to forget you exist because the mightiest of mighty, the highest of the high, co-signed your existence. It formed you. It custom selected all of your little quirks, the things you're proud of, the things you're ashamed of. It custom selected all of that and gave you the stamp of approval. And here you are apologizing to a human being that you exist. I don't even tell people take it up with my mama. I tell people, you got a problem? Are you going to have to bypass Jesus, go straight to God, because God's the one that stamped me into being. Sorry that I'm not sorry. I side with God. God said I have a reason to exist, and so I existed. You got a problem with that? That's your fucking problem. This is a period where you have to enter into that mindset. Do it till you are it. Don't fake it till you make it. No. Do it until you are it. And that's that. Keep going until you become the very thing you are trying to be. Keep going. Keep going. I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in learning opportunities. And every time you make a mistake, and I don't believe it's a mistake, I believe you are being allowed to see either why you need to make a shift or why you need to double down in what you're doing. And that's that. That's that. Okay. So by summer, something will be initiated. By summer, there will be something initiated, and whatever is initiated, do not allow that into your home. Do not allow that into your home. I'm just saying. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Day to day, I'm blind to see. Oh. Some of you, we just need to get rid of this political correctness. We just do. We need to, once again, normalize truth and transparency, right? We need to normalize that. So, okay. For quite a few of you, you're on a path and going down a trajectory that is going to lead to elevated learning opportunities. That means you're going to deal with some fucked up shit. It's an elevated learning opportunity, but it's going to be through fucked up shit. Okay, so here. Someone is very upside down in their lusting of you. I think this card has more to do with the beings that are being released and are very excited to try and access and learn you. Will you allow access to you? Because for me, no, absolutely not. I will not allow access. And I don't care if people get disappointed or beings get disappointed. No, I won't allow that access. But there's no buts. It's a complete statement. No, that is a complete statement, and I will not allow access. Because whatever this is, it's not something that you're calling to you. It's something that's actively searching for you. And it's a sickening feeling. Yeah, I don't think fear is an appropriate response. It can be of a very natural and very easily understood reaction, right? Feeling afraid as a knee-jerk reaction. That's very common. It's very understandable. Is it an appropriate response? A response requires you to think about what direction you want to go in, the type of outcome you're hoping to have. There's a difference between a response and a reaction. Fear as a response, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think someone needs to make doormats that say FAFO. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, I think that needs to happen. Um, what was once forbidden is now being allowed. That's not good. That's definitely not good. I'm told I can't discuss some of the future potentials that I was shown, but I can share. Um, I'm I'm actively looking for tactical trauma training. I'm actively looking to certify and become basically a tactical medic. Do you understand the gravity of that? As a medic who is trained in tactical applications, you need to be able to remain functional and be of medical service in theaters of war. And the type of training I'm looking for will be simulating actual war. I found one. They even they detonate munitions as you are working on the field. That says a lot. It says a lot that my entire family is preparing to train in Israeli military combat. That says a lot. We will not be accessed. I will not allow it. And part of the way you disallow access is by ensuring any point of potential vulnerability, potential weakness is shored up. So, what does that mean? That means no matter the circumstance, no matter the size of the aggressor, um, regardless of which one of my children, they will know how to effectively neutralize your threat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The times that we're entering into are questionable. There's still time for us to kind of redirect, to shift the trajectory. There's still time for that. And for those of you, I have trust issues. I don't trust other people to keep me and my family safe. That's my duty. As the matriarch, that is my duty. As a patriarch, that is my husband's duty. So we are taking the necessary precautions to go ahead and make sure that everyone is prepared in a fun and safe manner. You see, there are certain types of things that you can learn that teaches your reaction. It programs you to react in a specific way, right? It programs you. You don't have to think, it's just your reaction at that point. And that is what is being taught. Through social programming, we're being taught that our appropriate reaction is to depend on someone else. How many of you think that if there's a lot of people around, because you're in a public space, you're safe because no one will attack you? Wrong. Wrong. No one will help you anymore. People are being taken in broad daylight. I'm thankful for growing up in a war zone. Why? My reactions are vicious. I've shared with you guys before. My older brother was working on me. If you trigger pain in me, and it's a specific type of pain, because I can handle a lot of pain. Again, part of my training as a child, I can handle a lot of pain. It takes tremendous amounts of pain to slow me down. It's not even going to stop me. It's just going to slow me down for a moment before I recalibrate and keep right at it. So that's part of my upbringing. My sibling was trying to release my pectoralis minor, and that's deep. It's under. He had his thumb inside my chest, and I don't really know what happened. I wasn't intending to. But the moment the threshold of my pain tolerance was reached, I didn't push him away. I didn't try and get off the massage table. I grabbed his wrist. He can't pull it away now. I grabbed him and I grabbed myself. And then I turned slightly so he can't hit my face. He wasn't going to. And then I went ahead and I hooked my feet on his shoulder in such a way where all I had to do was straighten my leg. And I can leg press 900 something pounds. Straighten my leg and turn. That's going to rip his whole fucking shoulder. That will tear his tendons. The amount of force I can generate using fulcrum. And that was just my reaction. And in my head, I was thinking, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it's worth it. He's going to release it. He's going to release it. But you know what my body did? It was going to protect itself. And he was tapping, he was tapping, he was tapping. That did not register. It did not register in my head at all. That's my programmed reaction. I don't have to think. But I also don't fit into society. Why? Because I won't allow you to harm me. That's not what I was raised to do. I was not raised that way. I wasn't. So now I see, I'm thankful for the fact that I was raised in a very hostile environment, physically hostile. It programmed a lot of reactions in me. It's taken me years to undo some of the programs where if you startle me, if you try and jump out at me or come from the back, bro, I'm swinging. I'm kicking. If you're close enough, I'm using elbows, I'm using knees. Yep, that's the reaction. So don't play with me. Don't play with me. And that was intentional. I was intentionally raised that way because my father wanted to make sure that even if boys try and mess with me, I will fuck them up. And I absolutely will. Because let me tell you, if you're planning to victimize me, there's going to be 2 victims that day. You're probably going to be one of them. I have no problem with it being both of us. I give myself permission to do what is necessary to stay safe. Do I just like get aggressive with people and threaten people? Absolutely not. That's not how I am. But if you leave me no choice and you're triggering my survival instinct, oh, we're going to have a big problem. I already know how I am. We're going to have a big problem. Very big problem. But you have to put me in that situation. So that doesn't make me a bad person. That makes me one highly capable of self-defense. And that's that. So the world that we're entering into, a lot of people's predatory nature is going to be coming to the surface. This energy that's being released, and then you're going to have a secondary energy that's going to be plugged into that Saturn's box that's going to continue to harvest after all of this dark shit is released. people's aggression are going to reach an all-time high. Excuse me. What was once forbidden will now become commonplace. You know, it is what it is. You guys have time to prepare if you want. If not, then don't. But that's going to make it harder for you because you need time for something to become second nature. One of the most powerful things you can do if you are not someone who is willing to allow yourself to defend yourself, you need to learn and condition to yourself to be highly adaptable. Adaptability is a way to ensure your survival. I'm highly adaptable. I can fit into any environment. I don't like to do that though. I like to stay by myself. I'm highly adaptable. Highly adaptable. This is why I can get through any type of circumstance life throws my way. It's not just like, oh, I'm a badass. I'm absolutely not a badass. But I have survival instinct like a motherfucker. Absolutely. And I'm highly adaptable. I can stay more than functional in stressful situations. As a matter of fact, because of my PTSD, when you stress me out to that degree, I get real fucking calm. Everything happens in slow motion. Maybe for some of you, the reason you've had the life you've had and the reason you've developed the types of neurodivergent conditions that you have, like PTSD and ADHD, dyslexia, all of those different things. It's preparing you for how you're going to navigate through this period that's coming up. No, it's for the whole world. Hi, Monica. It's for the whole world. The whole world is shifting. It's a shift that was always going to take place. It's something that's needing to happen. It's like when you have I was just thinking about my body worker. When you are having someone work on a muscle that is, it's very tight, it's in pain, you don't have full range of motion. They have to break down those adhesions. They have to sometimes break down some of that muscle tissue in order for that full range of motion to be achieved again. You have to be very careful doing that because you can push your client into rhabdomyolysis. And that's very bad. You can damage their kidneys. So if you're very skilled, you know what to do. That shit's painful. It's painful. And my body worker was working on me recently. I have Ehlers-Danlos, so she gave me a safe word. She said, just yell Ehlers. Right? But I know she needs to do this work on me. And I was trying my best to remain on the massage table and like just breathe through it, release, because she's gonna keep digging at it until I let that go. So that's what I'm telling myself: breathe, release, breathe, release. And then I moved my leg, is what I felt. That I moved my free leg, at which point she let go of everything and she walks away from the table. And then I think she said, like, you almost got your leg hooked on me. I was like, what? She goes, you almost got me. And I was like, no, we're friends. We're friends. But I guess I was preparing to hook my leg on her and flip her onto the table with me. Hey, I wasn't meaning to hurt her. I wasn't, but it's intense. Sometimes you have to go through even more pain to undo what's causing you the pain. Sometimes that's just part of the process. And sometimes it's more to do with you needing to just breathe and let go, allow your process to occur. You need to understand your self-worth and that you deserve to protect yourself. It doesn't mean you need to start a fight with every single person you come across. It doesn't. It's not this all or nothing thing. You have to allow yourself to have at least some wiggle room to be able to like decide, okay, do I want to engage this? Should I not? Are there other options? Reflexes of women who have childhood trauma are something else. Yeah. It really is something else, because let me tell you, I know my wrist can get dislocated. So because of my childhood trauma, I'm more likely to grab onto you and use my elbow, your throat, your face. It don't matter. I'll go for your throat if I can't get your face. If I can't get your throat, I'll go for your face. Whatever it is, my elbow is it can take a lot. Especially, I know how to swing it properly. So these are reflexes. These are programmed desire to survive. I think for many of us, we don't even know what it is we're trying to survive. So we've locked ourselves down. We don't give ourselves permission to get out of harm's way. We don't give ourselves permission to speak up. Someone who speaks up is not an easy target. That's the reality of it. That man who tried to bully me at the gym, he thought that I would shut down because he came up aggressive like this. Sir, first off, you are about the same size. Sir, why are you speaking in hushed aggression towards me? Right? And when I didn't back down, I told him, you could have simply asked me and I would have moved to one cable and we could have shared. Like, I don't know why you're acting this way. He decided to get louder, and he thought that type of verbal aggression would do the trick. So I matched it. Maybe he can't hear, and that's why he's speaking louder. Maybe he's hard of hearing. Let me speak louder too. Yeah. Okay. That's when he realized, like, oh, I'm going to have to find a different way to bully her. How'd that work out? How did that work out? Right? It didn't. It didn't work out. Why? Because I didn't allow it to. You need to give some degree of permission, not just for humans to have that negative effect on you, but for energetic things as well. So I've been getting this question quite a bit. People who have gifts, if, for example, you have the ability to hear, if you enter into a room and there's a lot of people there and they're talking, you're going to hear everyone talking, right? You're going to hear everyone talking. Whose conversation are you going to hear more? Well, who are you paying attention to more? Is there a conversation that's happening that involves, maybe it's a workspace, right? It involves the safety of your job, like your job's on the line. You're absolutely going to hear that more. Anything that causes you to feel like your safety is in question, you're going to fixate on that more. So if you have the ability to hear, clairaudience is the gift. You can hear everything around you. You can hear the good things, you can hear the bad things. If you have the ability to feel, to know, you're going to sense everything around you. Does that mean it's in your auric field? Probably not. But if you're fixating on it, you're calling it in. You're creating a pathway for that to enter into your field. So this has happened several times. Field is completely clear. They can hear parasitic things outside of their field. Your field is clear, but you can hear parasitic things outside of your field. Okay, now you're going to fixate on. You're going to think about, like, oh my God, I can hear it. I can hear it. I can sense it. I can hear it. I can sense it. Every single time you do that, you pull it in a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Your eyes and ears are organs that bypass your auric shield. It pulls in the visible and audible frequency. The more you fixate on what sense it is that you're picking up on, whatever sense you're using, that's the more you're now pulling it towards you. So now you've let it in. If you can simply be aware of these things that exist, then you can be aware that they're there and you should not allow entry. When you operate from a space of fear, when you exist in nothing but fear, that thins your auric shield. It causes you to withdraw into yourself because you're afraid. You're going to shrink yourself down. You're going to withdraw into yourself. All of that energy that should have went out to outermost auric membrane, that auric shield, you have multiple layers. It's now going in towards the core. You're trying to protect your core. That's not going to hold everything out. If you're dealing with something parasitic that is even slightly intelligent, and most of them are fucking intelligent, what will happen? It will use the laws of physics to breach your hull. It's not hard. It's not hard. They know tensegrity. They know about tensegrity. So thereto is something that can absolutely be utilized. 4/22/11/11 a.m. That's 444, which is 12. These are the first steps of our spiritual journey. 444. The self, the soul, and the purpose. All of those coming to a point of convergence. 12 is 1 + 2, 3. Solid foundation from which to rebuild. This is the start. So what's that tell me? Well, 4/22, you, 4, is being guided, 22, elevated guidance, to a space of beginning to realize where you're at within your spiritual journey, 11/11. Now, when you put it all together, the message, everything we're talking about right here, right now, is guiding you towards empowering yourself in your journey, because the first steps are being taken with or without your consent. As a human being, your soul has consented. Things are going to shift. Morphogenetic templates are going to be converted. This conversion is going to cause vulnerabilities within your system. It's the equivalent of moving to a new neighborhood and not knowing where everything is. You don't know what time the stores close. You don't know which restaurants are the best ones that have the best price. You don't know. You're in a space of vulnerability because you don't yet know. So what's going to happen? If you don't give yourself permission to be able to shift, meaning increasing the degree of etherotensegrity that you currently possess, then you will have your hull breached. It will get in. Once it's in, you'll feel trapped. And that's the whole point. It's trying to force you to give your energy up to be able to cycle back down into a phase locked position. Will you allow that? I don't know. If I were you, I would fight the shit out of that. I'd be like, get your grubby ass hands off of me, motherfucker. That's what would happen. Yes, get your grubby ass fucking hands off of me. Sometimes you just need to get real fucking mad. Sometimes you need to convert that fear to full-blown fucking rage. It's just intensity of an energy. You're the one that is giving it the label that will either empower you or disempower you. So you have a massive surge of energy. Your heart's pounding, heart's pounding, heart's pounding. You're breathing shallow. You're like, you're juiced up. Is that anxiety or is that excitement? Which one is it? So I'm at the gym. I just added 90 more pounds, 245 plates onto the bar. Right. I have existing knee condition. I haven't gotten it checked in a while, but I was told at 25, 26 years old, I needed total double knee replacement and a tibiostomy. I was told I had no more meniscus left. and that my tendon was torn. Yeah, I didn't get the surgery. So I think it was maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. I was doing leg presses, not the kind where you just push forward, but you're semi-reclined. So if I drop the weights on me, I'll have my thighs beside me. I'm bendy though. And the weight will come really close to crushing me. And I loaded more plates and I sat there for a moment and I could feel my heart pounding. I also was drinking creatine, so I was on creatine. My heart was pounding. And for a moment, I was like, oh shit, what if I get fucked up? Oh my God, what if I dislocate my knee? And then it drops on me. That's going to tear my tendons. That's going to tear my ligaments. I'm going to be fucked up. And then you know what I did? I said, fucking push. And then I realized I was excited and I pushed that shit. Just shy of 1,000 pounds. I did 8 of them. All the way up, all the way down. Don't lock the knees. I did 8 of them. And then I was like, fuck yeah. Do it again. And I was like, no, girl, we're all out of energy. That's it. You got to take like 2 plates off. We're done. We're done. That fear was converted to excitement. Why? Because I said so. Because I said so. That was the only reason why. Because I told myself, we're doing it. The reality is there is a lock. It's a safety lock. And I had the safety lock set. I was not going to get crushed. I probably pull a muscle, but I wasn't going to get crushed. Right? I can bend my legs almost to the back of my head. Like I can get out of that. Even if the whole sled comes down, I can still get out of that. If you can't control the chaos within you and accept it for what it is, upside down chaos, you won't have any power. If you think control is where your power is, that's an illusion, because the reality is you can't control anything. You can't even control yourself. Oops. Yeah, no, you can't even control yourself. If you're existing in a state of fear and your fear is taking over, you cannot control yourself. You can't control your kids. You can't control yourself. My kids are well behaved because they are choosing to be respectful of me. It's not because they're incapable of being disrespectful. They choose to respect me out of love for me. I can't control my kids. Are you kidding me? They're sovereigns. If I tell them to do something that they don't want to do and they feel it's a violation, they'll remind me, sovereignty, mommy. Could you please? Fine. Thank you. Right? And it's true. Sovereignty. If you can't harness your chaos, your internal chaos, control is not power. Control is what weak people do. How do I know this? Because at my weakest, I had tremendous control issues. Tremendous control issues. And now, as I'm entering deeper and deeper into my power and my purpose, I don't want to control anything or anyone. It's kind of like you just make a decision, stick with it. You'll be fine. Either way, you're going to learn. And it's the truth. Either way, you're going to learn. You're either going to choose the option where you feel like you chose the learning, or you're going to choose the option that makes you feel as though your soul has betrayed you. You have been dragged through a dry riverbed and nothing but your chonies. And life is unfair. It's not unfair. It's what you chose. I say this as someone who's been through hella shit. Hella shit. And it's okay. It's okay. I've been through enough to learn what I needed to learn. That's why I went through those things, to learn what I needed to learn. So for some of you, you're just going to sit there wishing for change, wishing to be able to do the things that need to be done. Oh, whoa, that's hella shifting. Do you guys feel that? My poor brain. It felt like the most loving touch of angels and shake weighted my brain. It's still shifting. Okay. I mean, it can continue to shift, but if I could just kindly please not feel it so intensely. Please, thank you. So interference. Interference is being run because so many of us are having our past lives return. Our memories are being given back to us by our souls. So I was talking to my besties last night, and it was this thing of how it was a discussion about, what were we talking about? How like the return of the memories is what's going to undo the matrix. And I was like, yeah, seriously, it is. Why do you think they pushed out this whole thing about Akashic records and accessing the Akashic? And so many people were so focused and fascinated by the Akashic, Akashic this, Akashic that. I want my memories. I want my memories. Okay, but your memories are not in the Akashic. Those are false memories. And when you retrieve false memories and you integrate them, they then become part of your template, morphogenetic template. And when that happens, you become more and more and more distorted, that code compressed, compressed, compressed because of the density of that distortion and everything around it that touches it, that's affected by it, that you plug into it will mirror that. Did you know, digressing back to my statement of I've been through everything I need to be through, have been through in order to learn what I need to know. At one point in my life, my soul decided I needed to teach myself how to become a chocolatier. I didn't take any classes. I just needed to know. I figured it out though. I made it work. And as part of figuring out the temperamental nature of chocolate, at one point, I mistakenly washed my spatula and I used it without drying it off to stir melted chocolate. If you guys don't know, unless the fluid exceeds a specific percentage compared to the chocolate content, your chocolate will immediately seize up, which it did. And there's no way to fix that. There's no way to fix that. You can't just melt it or add more chocolate, or it just becomes some fucking weird ass texture, a hard, weird texture. And because I wasn't sure what I did, I ended up reaching out to one of my former neighbors who had become a friend, and she was a trained chef and pastry chef. And I asked her, and she was telling me about how it seizes up. And then she introduced me to the concept of seeding chocolate. So when you melt chocolate, all of that crystalline structure is now released because it's in liquid form. And you simply, if you want to have really good chocolate that snaps when you break it and shiny too, you just need to introduce like a couple unmelted chocolate chips into that already melted chocolate. And everything else will pattern after that. They will rearrange themselves and pattern after that. It's kind of like a chocolate monkey see monkey do. Why did I need to become a chocolatier? To learn that specifically. If you allow something tainted into your space, into your thoughts, integrating someone else's spiritual assumptions and integrating them as your own, that's the seed, the chocolate seed. Everything within your template is going to begin patterning in that same way. And these are usually people who talk a big game. They'll either be very like aggressive in their communication. They'll kind of bully you into agreeing with them, or they'll shame you, or they'll prey on the fact that you feel alone and you want to belong somewhere. So they'll use that. They'll try and have this fake niceness. And then you'll begin to pattern your behaviors and your perception around theirs. When you allow this tainted thing in, you're really allowing it in. It's going to begin to repattern everything. And that's the whole point. Our fields right now are highly porous. Why? It's in response to the opening of the Saturn's black box. When that box opens, the planetary grid responds to it. It's a subterranean thing. The planetary grid responds to it. And then by way of your cord into the earth, your personal plate will respond to it, and then it will integrate it into your morphogenetic template. You got to know these things, or else you'll let it in. And when you let it in, it blocks that past life from coming through. Why is it important to block your past lives? Why are so many people being given erroneous past life details? And then you take it in, you're like, no, this is me because someone told me. Why? Just like if you believe you're of a different ancestral history than you actually are, that blocks you from actually receiving the truth of who you are. Once you receive that past life, your morphogenetic template, if it's a genuine past life, your morphogenetic template will begin to open the pathway that past life utilized. And as it does that, the gifts that you had in that life go active once again. Why do you think most of my past lives were left active? Why do you think I can do so much? I have access to my previous existences. They don't want you to know. They want you to continue to be reliant on this bullshit information because it's from the Akashic. The Akashic was tainted a very long time ago. The Akashic was accessed and tainted during the fall of Lemuria, the original empire. How do I know? Because I was there. They specifically injected false memories to encourage phase locking, to perpetuate that. Why? For the very same reason all of this tainted, bastardized spiritual teachings have been released. It all boils down to Thoth. This is nothing but a continuation of his attempt at a spiritual coup d'etat. His weak ass. That's okay. Thothi, I'm going to tussle with you. Our business is not done. And I haven't forgotten what you did. There's progression that's going to occur. And as this continues to progress, your ability to go ahead and receive more of your galactic heritage, there's going to be much more effort placed in trying to prevent that. Your galactic heritage and your past life return, these are intertwined because a lot of your galactic heritage involves your past life. What you need to do is observe. What do you feel? There's a lot of parasitic thought dysregulation, emotional dysregulation that's occurring already. It's going to continue. It's going to amplify, and people are going to be very emo. And as they get more and more emotional, which I can be emo, but if you're being emotional because you are being parasitically accessed, well, then guess what? You're now going to be used as a Trojan. Trojans are people who are used to access those who parasitic things can't normally access. But because of your proximity to them, you are now going to be used. Most Trojans do not know that they are Trojans. Why is this happening? Well, because something that's not allowed is trying to come back to life. Come to life. But it's not sanctioned by creation. Creation's allowing this tug of war to occur because it's curious. It's very, very curious. It has to do with integrity. Will you remain in your space of integrity as everything around you is compromised? I don't know about you guys, but I will never compromise my integrity. Ever. I will never compromise my integrity. Not for no amount of money, not for no clout, no opportunities, none of that. There is nothing that is worth it to me. Nothing at all. How do you feel about that? You got some bills to pay? What if you're given an opportunity to have all those bills paid, but you just got to do one thing and it's going to compromise your integrity and no one will know? No one will know. Would you do it? Careful. That's a very slippery path. Would you do it? I once had someone, this was years ago. I once had someone privately message me, and I never responded to them. They privately messaged me and they offered to pay me $10,000 to curse someone. $10,000. I was homeless. What would you have done? They were willing to pay me, and I knew they had the money. What would you have done? I can't be bought. You can purchase services from me, but you can't purchase me. I don't curse people. This was a person who found out, they were one of the first people to find out that I'm extremely well versed in baneful magic. Extremely well versed. Yeah. I didn't answer. And then I banned them from everything. Everything. Every single thing. I banned them. Exactly. My integrity is my everything as well. There's something that will utilize your vulnerabilities to shake up your integrity. Look. It's going to offer you a pot of honey. It's going to paint something sweet for you. Right? A lot of people are receiving messages. What are you receiving a message from? Do you know? You think you know, but how do you know? I don't have all the answers. These are just questions. You think you know what you're talking to, but how do you know? I've had Michael in my life, my entire life. And up until 2010, no, early part of 2011, I referred to him as a demon. I thought he was a demon. I'm not even joking. I thought he was a demon. He's been protecting me my whole life. Yeah, he's a demon to me. He goes, tell the truth. Okay, every once in a while, I still ask him, are you a demon? But it's more to just irritate him. But up until 2011, beginning part of 2011, I assumed he was a demon. Because there was nothing that he had allowed me to see that convinced me he wasn't. Up until a specific point, and I know exactly what that point is, and I wrote about that point in my book. That was The singular moment that I realized, okay, maybe you're not a demon. Maybe you really do want to keep me safe. Okay. Okay. You know? Um, yep. Exactly, baby Mimi. Baby Mimi says, "Ooh, I did a reading at the beginning of last month in regards to this. Don't fall for the trap that is disguised beautifully." And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, the more sinister the fucking demon, the more ridiculously handsome it is. I'm not even joking. A lot of demonic things have a tendency to be androgynous. Yeah. So depending on which way you swang, that's how they look. Yes. Yes. Mhm. You gotta be careful. A lot of people are being heavily encouraged to commune with things that they don't understand. And it's not, don't ever do that. It's make sure you know what you're doing before you start. Stop trying to rush just to prove that you can do something. That's how you get yourself fucked up. The spiritual realm is not for the faint of heart. All these people, love and light, this and that, just command. Baby, if you can't control me, I promise you, you're not controlling a motherfucking demon. You think my attitude is shitty? Babe, wait till they're done piling up that demonic debt. And now you have no choice. Just wait. Just wait. You need to release allegiances. You need to let go of something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's someone, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's a mindset. I don't know. I don't know. But this is a period where all of this needs to happen. And you need to allow yourself to become very, very strong within yourself. You start believing in yourself. You need to start listening to yourself. Even if what yourself says is Emmy is crazy and she's wicked and stay away from her, then stay away. It's okay. Listen to yourself though. Listen to your highest self. Big, bold vision. Whatever this is, it wants you to think small, see small. It doesn't want you to be able to allow yourself to receive the vision of what life is supposed to be for you. No, see it anyways. It's like the narcissist that tries to show you a different side of themselves to ensnare you, to get you feeling comfortable, to get you feeling like they're safe. But I can see you. There was this person, oh my God. And I can share this detail because it was on a public live stream. You fucking cunt. Anyways, no, I mean that. So this person purchased a past life reading from me. This was years ago. And in the past life reading, it turns out that they stole my newborn child and tried to take off with my newborn child. They abducted my newborn and they were running through a forest. And then me and the baby daddy, we caught up and we beheaded them. We beheaded her. And it was this very sickening feeling that I had, but I didn't say anything. I did give them those details. I didn't say anything else. And they had the audacity to later email me like, I know you're beating yourself up over this. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Be gentle with yourself. It's okay. I'm part of the trusted circle. No, the fuck you're not. What is wrong with you? You took my child and you're part of the trusted circle. Right. And then I think it was like several months later, This person decided to wait at a family home they thought that I lived at, but I actually didn't live there. Yeah. And then they told my relatives some storyline and presented it as though like they're my friend slash student. And so they were allowed in the house. I wasn't there. I wasn't even in the state. And then, if I remember right, they waited until about 3 a.m. for me to come home inside the house, knowing I had already banned them across all social media. And I was speaking to my relative. He didn't realize that that was a situation. But I had said, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your business and who you have at your place, but I'm never coming over again. I'm never going to come over again. And my relative knows the level of self-defense that I'm capable of. And he basically says, "Are you fucking scared of that bitch?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "You could fuck her ass up easy. You about the same size and you scrappy. You could fuck her ass up." And I was like, "I don't give a shit if I can fuck her ass up. I'm not going to be anywhere around that. Ew. Tainted. Ew." Right? Absolutely not. I will not allow myself to be accessible to things that I find to be tainted. People will try and convince you that they are entitled to access to you. Are they? If I didn't personally put you in my circle of trust in this life, motherfucker, you're not in that circle. Don't tell me where you're going to be in my life and what role you're going to play. Unless I give you that title, no, the fuck you're not. I'm not sorry. I'm not ashamed. Fuck you, cunt. Yeah, I don't give a shit. You should feel embarrassed. You probably still watch. I feel your tainted ass. You probably still watch. Mm. They're not going to leave you alone. Those that have sampled your energy and they have room within themselves for demonic shit to influence them. Those are people who are not possessed. They're inhabited. There's a difference. People who are possessed, that's like a squatter, right? A violent one. This squatter has interloped and has refused to leave, and you don't want them there. You never invited them there. Like, it's all bad. You need to bring the proper enforcer to clear that out. Now, someone who's inhabited, this motherfucker, that's their bestie. That demon is their bestie. It empowers them. It hypes them up. It's their wingman. Uh-huh. It's their wingman. And I'm going to let that go. That's where their power comes from. One of the things, and this is a telltale sign to me, when someone gets infected with a specific strain of etheroparasitic genome, one of the things that they say, and the moment they say this, it's like confirmation, like, bitch, I already fucking knew. It's when they talk about their power. I've never felt more powerful in my life. And there's this disgusting fucking quality to it. It is a fucking disgusting ass quality to it, right? And then they have a tendency to talk about how they can remove anything and everything. And it was so easy, it's gone. It's gone because you fucking got infected. And I'm just like, girl, textbook. This is straight to You say whatever you want. We're not competing, but that's all you. That's all you. I'm not even gonna interact with you. Nope, nothing. Nothing. Sometimes, especially during this period, because this specific strain, it hybridizes itself again. What it wants is interaction with you. If you allow the interaction, you're allowing access. And it can breach your shields without piercing your shield. It knows ways. I teach about this in my certification program. There are certain energetic and physiological structures, organ systems within the human experience that just allows it in. And it knows this. And it's so smart. First, it goes for the retroruberal fields. You won't know danger from safety. And then it will hyperstimulate specific structures in the brain that gets you all riled the fuck up. And then it goes for your frontal lobe, affecting your executive function, but not before it first infiltrates your Wernicke's area, because that's the part of your brain that interprets verbal communication. I could tell you all of this, you won't understand shit. Why? Wernicke's area is affected. Go to your parasitic extractor, people who claim they can do what I do. Ask them the specific pathways that are utilized, the mechanics within the cranial space. I can tell you exactly how it's done. Can they? And if they repeat what I said here, then you know they're a lying sack of shit. And they're simply regurgitating what little bits of information I release publicly to fool you so you can get infected just like they are. This is why I gatekeep. I will never offer my community up to those who are simply wanting to use you and your circumstance to make money off you. Yeah, I am a for-profit business, absolutely. I'm compensated for my time. You're not purchasing my gifts. I'm absolutely compensated for my time. And I do everything I say I can do. I'm actually able to do it. I have no problem with people paying for services. That's not an issue. I don't have competition. Why? Because as much as people would want to view themselves as my competition, the fact that you're aware of me and I don't know you tells me everything I need to know. The fact that you don't have a body of work that helps me to learn even more tells me everything I need to know. That you're none of my business. If you can approach these people and their attempt to access you and force interaction with you in that way, you're giving access. And what you want wants you back. If you are someone who needs to have the final say, it's not going to end good. It's not going to end good. At one point, there was an individual who I found their interactions extremely disrespectful, bordering on making me feel unsafe. And I let them know and that they needed to stop, and they continued. And so I went ahead and I did not provide the services, and instead we refunded everything despite my no refund policy. We went ahead and refunded for the services that were not provided. And then this individual decides to go ahead and reach out and be like, no, you did that. I owe you 400 something dollars. And I really don't give a shit. I know in my heart I did not do that. And no, you're not going to buy interaction for 400 something dollars. Keep your fucking money. Keep your money. I know I didn't provide that service. I'm not a fucking liar and I'm not a thief. I could have gotten away with that. I don't give a shit. You will not corrupt me with your interaction. You will not force me to engage with you. Absolutely not. And if you're so hell-bent on believing that I performed that and you owe me for, keep it as a gift, a departing gift. Go the fuck away. Go away. You will not buy entry into my space. There is nothing that is worth the price of your peace. There is nothing that is worth the price you pay with your peace. These are things that will continue to repeat over and over and over. Attempts to get you to engage. Don't. I mean, you can if you want. I wouldn't. But they said this and that. Okay, they're going to keep saying stuff. They have verbal diarrhea. Hand them some toilet paper and walk away. Have them, do whatever they need to do, right? And if it's not enough, that's just too bad. That's just too bad. You don't need to have the final say. You don't need to do any of that. Just leave it alone. And if you can do this, you're going to enter into a space of efficiency and you're going to have more time to build your fortitude. And as you become fortified, you're going to increase in your productivity. And as that happens, you will reunify the self and the soul. It will come back together. You will be able to feel whole within yourself again. Isn't that what you want? To feel whole, to understand your power. You can only control yourself. That's all you've ever had control over. If you can accept that, if you can accept that you're not here to save anyone, if you're able to see and accept, this is really about you getting to know yourself. And as you get to know yourself, you will naturally live your purpose. I'd say you're pretty well prepared for the next several months. It's a lot of parasitic activity. It's been ramping up. It's going to continue to ramp up. I don't see it ever going back to the baseline we used to have. I don't see us ever returning back to the life that we had, the existence that we knew before 2020. I don't see any of that. But that doesn't mean that what we're forced to live through and build together using our energy, our time, and our focus doesn't mean it has to be ugly. There will probably be ugly parts, just like when you build a house, that shit's ugly until it's done. There's a lot of safety hazards. You don't go and build a house without knowing how to do it. You need to have someone present that will help you. Who is that? It ain't me. I can help, but I mean, it ain't me. It's your soul. Your soul is the architect. Your soul is the builder. All you got to do is hammer the things your soul says needs to hammer, because that doesn't sound right. Do what your soul says, okay? And then wear the appropriate safety gear. And then everything will work out fine. It always does. You've managed your life thus far. It's not perfect. It's not exactly how you believe it should be. You're not exactly where you want to be with the things you want to have. But have you ever thought that maybe the things that you want and the expectations you have of yourself are not your own? They're someone else's expectations. And maybe you have these expectations of yourself to simply prove to someone that you have worth. Let me tell you something, babe. You've had worth this entire time. Whether you wanted to see it or not, you have had a worth and other people can see it. And maybe if you're honest with yourself and you see people are constantly complaining about how you think you're better than yourself, but you never really do anything that makes you better than anyone. As a matter of fact, you just keep thinking like everyone has value, except you can't see it for yourself. Maybe you need to believe them. because what they're really telling you is they think that you're some hot shit. They think you're some hot shit, and maybe you are. What's wrong with that? If it's the truth, what's wrong with that? Nothing. Live your life. Allow yourself to see the things that need to be seen. Turn away from the things that you're done looking at, because, I mean, you've seen enough. You've seen enough. There are some people where you have seen enough of their bullshit. You know they're full of shit. Leave them alone, unless you like the stench. At which point, smear it. Smear it all over the place. Live your life. I hear that all the time. Was always confused by it. Yeah, I hear that too. I hear that too. And I'm always talking about being shoulder to shoulder with each other, and that, whatever elevated capacity I have, it's so that I could better serve in whatever purpose I'm designed to serve. But people will say these things, and I've learned it's their insecurity speaking. They see you very clearly. They see you have a value. They see you have a worth and a gravity and a purpose that is not like their own. And it upsets them. Those are big feelings for little-minded people. They need time to figure it out. And I don't know that you're the one that's supposed to teach them. Maybe it's their life that will teach them. Because if it's not you, it's someone else. They will always be jealous of someone. And that's when I realized, not my problem. I still help quite a few people because my heart tells me to. It's no longer out of obligation. All right, really quick, guys. I'm going to be live later today for the Protection Tea Party. This is a whole bunch of protective, like very elevated protection expedites. And then I have the Dark Matter Clearing event. It's a Black Magic Revocation meditative event. The ticket is only $33, and it's a private event. It's not going to be held on a public live stream. I'll be clearing dark matter and access to you. I also have the Baneful Protection workshop. That's I think it's going to be coming up in like a month. I'm not sure. This is where I teach you how to very powerfully defend your space and create boundaries that have consequence. I'm not teaching you to curse anyone. That's not what I do. I know how, but I'm not teaching you that. That's some stupid shit right there. When you curse people, it ages you. Yeah. It's like a 50% deposit for the demonic thing you use to violate someone else's sovereignty. I don't know if you guys know that. You pay like a 50% deposit. So a portion of your life force is harvested. Yeah. Yep. That's why people who do all that kind of shit, they tend to look hella bitter. Because they are. And then, of course, I have the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop. That's coming up this Saturday. There's a couple seats left for this. If you'd like to learn how to very effectively maintain your personal space, this is not about working on other people. This is about working on yourself, your chakras, your auric shield, just really helping yourself know how to harness your energy. You should check out this workshop. The Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop is a prerequisite for the application process for my certification program. The certification program is now and has been since January 1st. We adopted the same type of application process that you would go through for an Ivy League college. It's time for me to begin really properly framing the gravity of what I teach for the certification program. It's like the difference between an Ivy League college and you just watching things on YouTube. What I have to offer and what I teach my students for the certification program, it's life-altering. It is life-altering, and at this point, we are no longer simply accepting people who want to start a payment plan or can pay it in full. No. It's a full-on application process. You will have a video interview. You will have testing done. You will also need to write an essay. And this is not free. And if you are selected, and not everyone will be, your application fee goes towards the final cost of the program. I'm finally elevating my program to where it belongs. This is a system that will change everything about the world. From the way we handle disease, psychological conditions, it will change everything. And I need to speak about my body of work appropriately. No more diminishing, no more self-deprecating stuff. It's beyond cutting edge. It's beyond future forward. It's something that completely changes lives. I've been able to do it. My students have been able to do it. I know for a fact I can teach how to do this. But I will only now teach those who have integrity. Because I'm fucking done with the parasitic shit trying to access my academy. I'm done with it. So, baby Mimi, because of all the parasitic stuff and my ribs and injuries, I'm very behind, several months behind. So those who are actually paid off for the next level 1 cycle, I'll be sending out an email maybe in the next month or so. I'm finishing off the cycle that should have been finished last summer, should have been finished already. So I'll be sending out an email. You guys will get a good idea. Level 2 is what I'm scheduled to do next. And level 2 is like a 60-hour program. And this is where we really go deep into that healing. I'm excited. Oh my God. So if you're called to become a healer, a real one, not fake shit, a real one that can be confirmed with medical diagnostics, you need to take the Morphogenetic Fundamentals course first. It's a 4-hour workshop, and it's the prerequisite for level 1 of my certification program. And then once I have all of the application process really hammered out, then you have to apply. And again, it has nothing to do with your self-worth and everything to do with integrity. I will now only accept people who exceed a certain level of integrity. It has to be aligned. It has to be aligned. So my system will be known for churning out the most gifted humans humanity has ever seen in its history. That's not an overstatement. That's a fucking fact. You know, I'll share this. One of my students, it was their final exam. And this student is like a little fucking baddie, okay? A powerhouse. And they decided to crank up the frequency. And as soon as they did, because I'm observing the final exam, I'm watching it. I'm observing their field and everything, and I'm seeing exactly what they're doing. And as soon as they crank up the frequency, woo! My window fucking lit up, and like the loudest crack of thunder right over my house. I'm like, fuck yeah! I was muted, of course. I don't remember if I think I told them, but yeah, fucking badass. My students are badass. And I know TikTok, that's why you took away my ability to use my platform to live stream, or my broadcaster to live stream on you. I know that for a fact, because you only took it away after I said I was going to feature them and their work. Fucking TikTok is an asshole. Yeah, I know that's why they suspended my broadcasting permission. What was the workshop working with your own field called? Oh, that's the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop. Oh, you're on TikTok. If you go to my TikTok profile and you click on the link in my bio, it's the blue image, Morphogenetic Fundamentals. It's the only blue image there. I'll show you. Yeah, that's a prerequisite at this point. And it's going to make you in that workshop. Yeah, it's at the very top. It's that blue image, morphogenetic fundamentals. It's a 4-hour workshop, but by the time the first half is done, you will have learned how to generate more frequency than any Reiki master. And this is just for you to work on yourself. I remember shit that they don't talk about online anywhere. I remember it. This was information that was not released. It was not taught. It was not information that was put in any manuscripts, manuals, or anything like that. How do I know this? I taught it to the Jed. It makes you formidable. With one breath, formidable. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, eventually in the 80s, they made a movie about it, a trilogy, and they call them the Jedi. Jedi is plural. Jed is one. How do I know? Because I remember what I taught them. So let's see. What kind of healer would you say your university cultivates? A very powerful one that's heavily steeped in morals and integrity. One that knows no limits when it comes to the human body's ability to regenerate. A healer that goes all the way deep down into the emotional root causation that gave rise to the distorted genetic expression that's now being presented as physiological disease. There are specific pathways that are utilized. And these pathways, they have a specific patterning that needs to be taught unless your memories were left intact. And to date, for that specific information, I'm the only one I'm aware of. I don't feel any other consciousness present that has this intact. If you know how to navigate this complex system of layers and levels, you can heal to the root causation. You can heal to the root causation. And my students have been able to do this for theirs as well, their people, their clients. I know they don't want to brag. I'll brag for them. I'm so fucking proud of them. I'm so proud of them. So yeah, it's a very unique opportunity. And I realize now when you throw pearls before swine, the pearls get dirtied, but it doesn't change. So if you don't want to have dirty pearls, you need to put them in the proper environment. So now, application process, it's a very intensive process as well. But if you commit to it, the way I teach you will forever change the way you see yourself. I'm not just teaching you to heal people. I'm actively encouraging you to heal yourself as you learn. You need to be healed in order to be able to do the work I'm teaching you to do. And I see my students change through the course of the program. They become a completely different version of themselves, one that is aware of their gravity, their potential, like they can handle shit. They can handle it. They can handle life. When they start, they don't believe they can do anything. They don't believe in themselves. It's hard for them. It's a lot of emotions. By the end of the program, they see the version of them that I've always seen. It changes their life. So if you're ready to heal yourself, you're ready to help other people heal, that's the program for you. There's no other system like it. No one else teaches this. You will not find it online. None of that. This is my intellectual property. I came into this life with this information, and I've just continued to build on it. And I'm finally ready. I'm ready for the changes. I'm very ready. You met someone like me, Julia? I've only met one other with a similar level of consciousness as you. Consider yourself very blessed. There's not many of us, but we're there. And we have a tendency to hide it. We have a tendency to keep it very covered unless you're of a specific type of frequency, a certain type of frequency patterning parameter. Most of the people who come from my soul tribe, they will hide it from you. They cannot be read. They cannot be scanned. They'll allow you to see whatever it is you think you're seeing, but it will not be the truth of the gravity of them. So if you met one, Julia, you are very blessed. That means they're ready to take their cloaks off. I've told you guys this for years. I'm not the only one here. We're in the single digits. We're in the single digits. One for every continent. That's all that's needed. One for every continent. The world will change because we're ready for it to change, not because me or my tribe is going to do anything. All we do is exist, and you choose what you want as a collective. And I know you guys will choose something different than what you've endured. So I'll see you guys 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time later today, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you would like me to work on you, please go check out the Protection Tea Party. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight. And if you're on TikTok, go to the link in my bio, click on the Hubi link, and then look for the Protection Tea Party. I think it's the second image from the top. I'm going to get going, guys. Please have an amazing rest of your day.